Alright, it's just me Sports, GM Sports with the double O, okay? And today we'll be talking about the Afcon, AFCON, African Cup of Nations. The 32nd edition is ongoing in Egypt. We have 4 countries left: Nigeria, Algeria, Tunisia, and Senegal. These 4 teams all can win the Afcon. But when you look at the statistics involved, I have a few stats I want to look at today. So you just judge based on these teams and their statistics if either of them are capable of winning the Afcon. The first stats I will look at is the performance of each of those teams in this present tournament. Number 1, Algeria. Algeria have been very classic in this tournament, playing 5 games, winning 4 and drawing 1. The last and the only game they drew was the one against the Côte d'Ivoire. They drew that game 1-0, but eventually triumphed 4-3 on penalties. On their way down to the semi-finals, they scored 10 goals and conceded only 1 goal. The next is Senegal. Senegal have won 4 out of 5, scoring 7 goals and conceding 1. Third is Nigeria, winning 4 also out of 5, but scoring 7 and conceding 5 goals. The last on the rung is Tunisia. Tunisia managed to win the first game in the quarterfinals, a 3-0 win against Madagascar. But before then, they had drawn all 4 games they played before, including the second round, the round of 16, where they drew 1-1 with Ghana before triumphing on penalties. So if you look at the stats of the way they have played so far, Algeria obviously will be crowned champions of the Afcon, but that's not how it works. Let's look at another stats. The history of these teams at the Afcon. The Super Eagles have won this tournament 3 times previously. They have placed second 4 times. They have also won the bronze medal, the 3rd place medal 7 times, which means in all, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have been to the Afcon 18 times. 15 out of 18, they were in the semi-finals. They have never, ever placed 4th, winning the trophy 3 times, 1980, 1994, and of course 2013. The other teams that have won the Afcon that are still left are Algeria and Tunisia, both winning once. Algeria in 1990 as host, Tunisia in 2004 also as host. Algeria have come second once, and that was in 1980 against Nigeria, losing 3-0 to Nigeria. Tunisia have placed second twice, once in 1965, another time in 1996. That match was against South Africa. They lost 2-0 to the South Africans. The last team, Senegal, have never ever won the Afcon. They only came second once in 2002. So if you look at that stats, Nigeria obviously will be champions. Let's check out the stats of the FIFA ranking. Senegal are top of the FIFA ranking in Africa. They are 22nd in the world and number 1 in Africa. So if you look at that, you say, oh yes, Senegal will win the Afcon. Who's next there? Tunisia is next, 25th in the world and 2nd in Africa. 3rd is Nigeria, 45th in the world and 3rd in Africa. And last there is Algeria, 68th in the world and number 12 in Africa. So if you look at that stat, obviously Senegal will be champions of the Afcon. So first up, if you look at the performance for this year's Afcon, so far Algeria will win the Afcon. If you look at pedigree, history, Nigeria will win the Afcon. If you look at the FIFA ranking, Senegal will win the Afcon. All right, let's look at the coaches in charge of these 4 teams. The coach in charge of Tunisia is the Frenchman Alain Degris. He's been in charge of Mali before. He's been in charge of Gabon. He's also been in charge of Senegal. He's also coached the Georgian national team. And with Mali in 2012, he won a bronze medal with Mali. And if you look at that, that means he has some pedigree. Let's move over to the coach of Algeria, the man Jamel Belmadi. He had been a coach of Qatar before, where he won the Gulf Cup in 2014 with Qatar. and he has also been in charge of a club in Qatar before he came down to be the coach of Algeria. Apart from winning with Qatar, he has won nothing on African soil. Let's look at the ANALYSES of Senegal, the former Senegalese international in charge of the Teranga Lions. He was a former captain. He's a greenhorn in terms of coaching. He coached the junior Teranga Lions on the 23 team, but he's never coached anywhere else apart from coaching the Senegalese team. So he is very fresh, greenhorn, and has won nothing. Let's look at the man, Janet Ward, the head coach of the Super Eagles, the technical advisor of the Super Eagles. He was in charge of Gabon national team, Niger Republic, and of course Burkina Faso. He's been coach of the Super Eagles for almost 3 years, a little few days left, and he will be coach of the Super Eagles for 3 years. In all his things as coaches of all these other African national teams, he never ever got beyond the first round, and now he is in the semi-finals. So if you look at the stats of those coaches and the pedigree, especially on African soil, you will give it to the Tunisian coach Alain Djougris because he has won a bronze medal with the Tunisian side. So right now we are at a tie. The Tunisian coach in terms of pedigree, the Nigerian Super Eagles in terms of pedigree of the national team and the statistics at the Nations Cup. Algeria because they are the best team so far at the Nations Cup. And Senegal because they are the highest ranked FIFA team in the Nations Cup. So everybody has won something if you look at the stats. So if we go down to the field of play, that is when you discover who the real winner is. But before I let you go, let me give you a little bit of what to expect in the semi-finals. Nigeria, Algeria. Nigeria and Algeria, the last time they met, Nigeria at the Nations Cup, that is, Nigeria beat Algeria 1-0. That was in 2010. In the qualifiers for the World Cup in Russia 2018, Nigeria was in the same group with Algeria. We beat Algeria 3-1 in Uyo, right here in Nigeria, and drew 1-1 away in Algiers. But that match, the result of that match was cancelled because Nigeria fielded Shehu Abdullahi, a player that was not eligible for that game. So the points was eventually given to the Algerians. So recently, Nigeria have done better than the Algerians. We won them in the Nations Cup in 1983 3-0 to win the trophy. They beat Nigeria 1-0 in the Nations Cup in 1990 to win the trophy. And in the same 1990, they beat Nigeria 5-1. If you look at the World Cup qualifiers for the 1994 World Cup, Nigeria beat Algeria 4-1 in Lagos and drew 1-1 at the July 4 Stadium in Algiers to qualify for our first ever World Cup in the USA. So Nigeria, plus minus, we've done better than the Algerians and will stand head and shoulders above the Algerians. So if you're asking for some odds, wait for it. That game, despite the fact that we have the edge over the Algerians, is a very close game to call. I will ask you, drop it over 1.5. I'm sure about that. These Eagles will always score. Senegal and Tunisia. The last time they played was in 2017. Senegal won 2-0. In 2008, it was 2-2. In 2004, with Tunisia as host, Tunisia beat Senegal 1-0. That is for the Afcon. If you look at it, they're tied in the Afcon. If you look at the current stage, Senegal have failed to score in only one game. Tunisia have failed to score in 2 games. The only time they scored more than 1 goal was the game against the Madagascars. That game, not easy to call, but risky. First half draw. All right, this is how we wrap it up today on Gist Me Sports with the double O. Till I come your way again, be safe. Catch ya.